Hello everybody and welcome to this Learn Dota 2 League Season 14, Week 2. We got G-Raff Lab, we got CHRONO, LUCILFER. Game 2. Last game, Pudge just walked all over everything and pretty much nothing else in the game mattered. Let's see if this time things are different. Jug and Void out again for G-Raff Lab, same first bands here. CHRONO, LUCILFER is thinking about it this time.
10 seconds remaining.
Last time we had the Martian the Omni Knight. This time we have the Martian the Omni Knight. Okay, same exact first bands.
Dire team pick.
First pick Undying for G-Raff Lab.
Dire team pick.
And first pick Pudge for CHRONO, LUCILFER. Do I even need to watch this game?
Seconds remaining.
See, I was thinking that G-Raff, okay, what they're going to do is they're going to ban those two heroes and they're going to first pick Pudge. And we're going to have to see what happens then. Nope. They're going to get the Undying instead. Snapfire comes out. Something for the Tombstone. It's something to just kind of ruin Undying in general. Really just does not like anything in Snapfire's kit, to be frank. A lot of people look at it as just Snapfire hits E and breaks the Tombstone, but what a lot of people don't look at is, here's a support that's always going to be outside of decay range until she just comes and just hits you in the face so fast you can't react to it or strength steel to tank through it, and who can just drop artillery on your head, which you probably don't have the ability to withstand, especially not as a support. There's definitely more to that counter than just the Tombstone. That's definitely there too.
Radiant team back.
Silencer.
Got the Silencer here, which is an interesting choice. Just going to stop Snapfire from doing basically anything. And well-timed silence can also really screw over Pudge, who really needs his ult to keep the rot train going.
Dire team ban.
No Leshrac. Once again knocking the Leshrac out here. Really do not want to see Moon River running that thing. Seems Leshrac is the fashionable mid in LD2L recently. CHRONO, LUCILFER says no Black Hole. Frankly, it would be no better this game than last game. If they're going to pick Enigma, it's directly to their detriment. So I can't agree with that, Ben.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Radiant
Storm
team
Spirit
back.
out of the contention. Earth's out of the contention. Feel like a Necro ban is likely. Even Necro isn't actually as good against Pudge as he appears on paper, most notably because if Pudge actually manages to close the gap with Necro, and Necro basically doesn't have an active BKB ready for that exact situation, Pudge is going to win that fight. No Invoker. But especially early on, the size can do a hell of a lot of damage to the Fat Man. And Necro is being let through. Maybe they pick it here. Or they're just willing to, you know, maybe they agree with what I just said and are willing to test that theory.
Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Jakiro. This looks oddly familiar. Could have sworn I've seen something like this before.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
GRS Lab putting a lot of thought into this particular pick.
Radiant team pick.
Go with the sniper here. It's a bit interesting, though, frankly, Pudger's going to kill Sniper in about 2.5 seconds later on in the game, so that's going to be a bit hard to stand on.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
Death Prophet coming out here. Another silencer, really keen on the Dire not being able to use skills here.
10 seconds
And to be blunt,
remaining.
I think they're also kind of keen on guys who are not going to live more than 3 seconds in any of these
5
fights.
seconds
Even if you look
remaining.
past the Pudge, and that's quite a large target to suddenly look past, but if you look past the Pudge, there's quite a lot of raw alpha damage that's going to be able to come out. Silencer is going to help stop that, but only for a certain amount of time. That global does not last forever. Undying is a really good hero to have no matter what he's doing in longer fights, but so far it's looking like it's going to be really hard for him to actually get in any longer fights. But the good news is he's going to say does it in Death Prophet this game, so there's that. One of those rare friendly hero interaction lines from the, you know, the older cast. Older part of the Dota 2 cast. And see, now it's not special because now all the heroes come out with rival lines and friendly lines for literally everyone. So Monkey King just comes out and says something stupid to, I don't know, says something stupid to Clinks, and Clinks just sits there and doesn't respond to him, which is always funny.
Radiant team ban.
Darkseer, huh? Not somebody we've seen a lot of in Season 14 so far. Darkseer is probably going to be the absolute most vulnerable person on this entire team to the Silencer. But the upside to that is he gets to
5
make Pudge really
seconds remaining.
fast. So, you know.
Dire team ban.
Imba Spirit is banned. Again, lots of bans directed towards Moon River here. You know, Inno got banned out in the first round, but since then it's been all Moon River stuff.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
CHRONO LUCILFER taking a little time, feels like every ban. Which isn't surprising. I do think it's kind of hard to ban against a team like G-Raff's Laboratory. It feels like they just kind of run whatever they want to.
Team ban.
And that's a very hard lineup to just stop outright with bans. So ultimately I feel like the real strategy for them is just kind of ban what you don't want to see within reason. I mean, you can pretty much ignore most conventional pause loans, I think. But ban just kind of
10
whatever you don't want to
seconds
see within
remaining.
reason. Rather than trying to specifically go for any
5
sort of
seconds
comfort.
remaining. Radiant team pick.
Again, the Wraith King ban.
Ten seconds remaining.
I guess they're really worried that, you know, Wraith King already won one match this week. Maybe this is the end of his streak and he's going to become 100% win rate. But spoilers from the future, that's not exactly how it turns out. G-Raff's lab, running out the rest of their reserve time with the last pick here. Four, 3, 2, 1, and they ran. Nah, just kidding. It's Dawnbreaker. Who the hell's gonna be the Pause 1 on this team? It's gonna be Pause 1 Sniper, maybe. And a Spectre on the other side. So it's actually not gonna be Run of the Pudge scan, this time it's gonna be Moon River. I don't know exactly how much of a difference that makes. I do think, apologies to Inno, I do think Moon River is a much better Pudge player than Inno is, so that impact is certainly going to be there. Howler's got a really gaudy looking silencer skin that makes it look like he has no neck. It's going to be a Pause 1 Dawnbreaker, Pause 3 Death Prophet, and Sniper as the 2, of course. I suppose you could have thought that, you know, maybe he was going to be the one and it could be like a silencer DP mid. So, I guess that doesn't really deserve the up course there. It's a really wacky, undying skin that's very distracting. It's a good thing this isn't actually the perspective you look at these heroes with in the actual game, or else this will be quite an annoying skin to be looking at all the time. Again, I will say this much. Sniper's probably going to start lane well against Pudge, but against Moon River Pudge, he's going to have a hard time closing it out.
Prepare for battle.
And frankly, they don't really have enough to deal with them. The Silencer and the DP are good starts, but they're only starts. And they're all so squishy. I mean, Undying's not squishy, but he sure is if he dies 1 second every fight like he's going to be doing. He's only squishy if he can actually sustain a longer fight, which he can't on this game. And Death Prophet, in the exact same boat, Death Prophet can survive and thrive in longer fights, has great ways to build her HP bar back up, but not if her HP bar drops from 100 to 0 in like 3 seconds. Which I think both Pudge and the rest of his team in general quite well suited to do. I mean, really, most importantly of all, you've got a Sniper against Spectre matchup, and that's just a god-awful matchup for poor Sniper. He just really has no possible game ahead of him here.
The battle begins.
Successful invasion of the top jungle means runes are going down here. Big boy LaCroix is going to lose about half of his health for the crime of existing by this thing, though. Both jungles get taken by the enemy teams. Nobody really goes down for it or anything. So far, very slow start to this landing phase. Just giving me very little to talk about here. So I'll say this much. My computer blue screened recently. I'm still very concerned about that. So if I'm on a live stream and I just suddenly randomly disappear, that will be why. That's about all I have to say at a time like this. Support trades here between Jakiro and Silencer are going dramatically in Silencer's favor. Jakiro very low.
Radiant's courier
I'm gonna use a
has
slot
been
through the
killed.
trees to get some Qs out without dying. Even then, loses nearly the entire HP bar in the process. Almost a dramatic comparison to just how slow this bot rune is. Interesting decision to get the level 1 surge. Must have been trying to do something at level, like the level 1 rune. Level 1 surge is not going to save them for this. Dawnbreaker gets the first kill here. And Undying is getting really aggressive, chasing Snapfire the whole 9 yards.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Once the TP comes in, decides this is no longer necessary and just breaks the chase off. Has a lot of mangoes. I mean, this dude is going to be eaten for weeks. He's never going to be really, well, at least for a while, he's not going to be starved for mana. Blade is going to have to pick up a more long-term solution to this very soon. Again, Jakiro really not able to get anything done here to the enemy line. Pudge is having to just simply retreat against the sniper. Just got down very low here.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Again, as stated early on in this lane, I don't really see sniper having any kind of problems with Pudge. But basically, the second that Pudge is going to win the fight when the hook and the rock comes out, which is just a couple levels from now, and certainly at level 6, Pudge is going to start having a pretty decisive advantage. It's a gigantic camp here. I like the small camps that have like a million crappy little guys in them when they get like this. Well, he's going to TP back to his T1 tower here, though he's going to be doing so with very low health and mana. Luckily for him, he's got
Dire's
tangos
top
on the
tower
way.
is under attack.
Pudge just took his own banner creep. Take back what I said about Moon River being a better Pudge. That was a joke, for the record. Another tombstone coming up here as Undying is basically just trying to 1v2 this lane. When Obi does finally show up, seems just a little too late, and as a result, nothing's actually conclusively able to get done. CHRONO still wants this tombstone, but they're gonna find it quite hard to get. They do ultimately knock the thing down, but they lose a lot of strength in the effort. And HP to boot. Silencer is missing is an abject lie that Jakiro could have told a few seconds ago. Jakiro just messing with his camp here to prevent Silencer from getting another pull on it. Which is a good strategy. As Silencer's able to make a giant stack here, eventually he's going to get to the size that the Spectre can't possibly take it, not early anyway. But Death Prophet's not actually going to have that same issue, so if Jakiro makes sure that the stack is only mildly sized, then there's not really any risk. Like, you still don't want to lose it to Death Prophet, but it's not as bad, and, you know, Spectre actually has something to gain from it. We got the funny combat music, but not from here.
No good. Oh. Don't even blink.
Dire trying to go deep behind bot tower here and just finding pain. Tombstone going up. Darkseer just having to get the hell out of town. Batman ambling his way to bot. If he... Okay, he just randomly turned around, never mind. I was gonna say, if he actually meets Undying here, and he was getting rather close to a meetup, he was gonna get very free fat stack. Okay, he is actually turning back around. He just wanted that arcane rune. He's gonna walk right into Undying's vision, though. But, I mean... Oop, Undying there. Dodging the hook. Giving the tip. Moonriver goes back to mid empty-handed.
I hate life.
Life is currently being hated.
Cleaver time.
Moonriver claims that it is cleaver time when it is in fact no cleaver at all time. There's no cleavers here.
Arcane power.
How 10 last hits under the sniper. And this is a bit ill-advised. He has just hit 6. Going to try and make a play under the tower here, but he just does not have enough fuel in the tank to get it done. And you better start drinking that bottle fast. Ooh, 30 HP. Likely would have been dead there without the bottle charge. It's actually going to stick around. But without any sight here, this is a very risky prospect. Sniper actually kind of baits out a hook there by just sending out one shot and then moving the hell away immediately. But he isn't actually, the shrapnel isn't actually even kind of close enough to interrupt that. I believe that was a TP coming in from bot there. There was an attempt to TP, but it did not work out as Shayla Beef was immediately caught out there by the Dawnbreaker, and Snapfire was forced to remain still. Moonriver sticks around for just a little longer to try and get rid of Sniper here, but nope, that's just not how things are going to work out here.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Pudge has sacrificed a lot of momentum. He really did just lose a whole lot. Funnily enough, I think he lost a whole lot taking that arcane rune. I think if he just kind of let the arcane rune sit and just kept going on, things would have been a lot better for him so far. He's gonna get a hook on the sniper. Gonna wait a long goddamn time to start the dismembering process. You wanted to try and get him at the last second there, but nope. Sniper gets away at like 10 HP and then immediately hits the salve. Completely frustrating Pudge's efforts to get anything done in this lane.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Sniper notably
Dire's
trying to move as unpredictably as possible and just trying to never let any open space exist between him and Pudge. He's perennially maneuvering himself to be blocked by the creep wave. Or at least the ranged creep. Well, there's a bit of a go at top here. Bowled over by the support line and Copeless. The 3 and under club, as we call it sometimes. And as a result, Silencer gets cement and Sniper just got hooked at mid and died. Okay. Look away for 1 second, I tell you. As a result, not only are both members of the safe lane going to go down, but also this tower is going to eat it too.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Inno is actually leading the response charge here. Spectre having had a bot to try and deal with this. Spectre also not having haunt. Not seeing any realistic possibility he's going to get any use out of it yet in this particular game. Which isn't too surprising. I feel like the only kills that are going to happen in this game are just, in the early are going to be Pudge just randomly finding a good hook and killing somebody with it. It's not like Lifestealer. Not like Darkseer. They rhyme. It makes sense, I promise. Not like Darkseer is famous for his 100 to 0 type gameplay.
Is under attack.
Do ultimately get this tower.
Has fallen.
Funnily enough, if Spectre did have Haunt, there was a very easy ticket to top or mid waiting for him, but because he doesn't, he's going to have to stick in this lane a little bit. I don't think he cares that much. There's generally good knowledge on the Dire, I think, that the Radiant are nowhere close, which is true.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Pudge has become the fast man. He's not going to land this hook, though, and as a result, Obi's going to be fine. Dawnbreaker thinks about turning around getting a shot in, but no such luck this time.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's
Pudge.
middle tower has fallen.
Ooh, lost his confidence there. He was definitely going to go for a hook on the sniper, but just ultimately decides against it. Curse comes out. Darkseer wall here is going to really split this up, but it's a little hard to say it's going to be enough. Okay, yeah, it's going to be enough. Global Silence is going to stop the Snapfire ult, and unfortunately the Pudge is going to go down. But they're going to get a lot done for their trouble here. Maybe? Actually, Spectre really just doesn't have anything here to do actual damage to the Death Prophet, so actually Spectre's going to die. Rest in peace. 4-for-1 trade. Almost lost Jakira as well. Definitely not great there. Definitely not great. It's a good wall and everything, but I mean, at this point in the game, they're still lacking any kind of damage.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Dire's middle tower
Pudge Eggs is
under
good, but you
attack.
gotta remember, the guy ain't born with the thing. CHRONO LUCILFER posturing for a revenge fight here, but G-Raff Lab does not actually want to take one. They really only want to take a fight in more ideal conditions here, which isn't surprising. Every ult they're down is a disadvantage. Every
is under attack.
second that Pudge gets to actually live in a fight and do something productive is a disadvantage. They know that, and they're not going to take a disadvantage. Which is never going to win them points on their chivalry scorecard, but is probably a good idea in this particular game. Pudge finished up the Vanguard there. A game like this is going to be good against a sniper and makes him have HP regen against everybody else, basically.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Spectre getting smoked on here, 3 smoked. Have revealed themselves on him. He's gonna try and TP out, but they got a Dawnbreaker for that. Drops the hammer right on his head. Sniper gets the kill because a shrapnel formally got it. It's a very dead Spectre and a very good start for G-Raff here. Pudge goes fishing. Assumes that Kobol's gonna juke, but no, Kobold just does exactly what he'd expect and so gets away. That wall was totally pointless. That fire ult is gonna come out here. Silencer is immediately gonna put a stop to that. This Silencer ult is doing more than he probably thought it was going to, as Pudge is also unintentionally killing himself for no reason off screen. Pudge just took up Sniper. And he's just gonna run him over and then walk away. Though I do feel like it's kind of unlikely. Okay. Gonna TP and actually does successfully make it. So they traded pause 3 for a pause 2 there. While the kill on Spectre was very good, the allowance of Pudge, who so far has been sort of behind where he wants to be, to get one of those crucial stacks of fat ain't so great.
bottom tower is under attack.
Dawnbreaker gets hit by the cookied creep. Team knocks over another tower here. They now have all of Dire's T1s in all their lanes, while only losing their bot T1 themselves. Even with a Darkseer, Dire has been rather unable to pressure out any of these lanes to a significant degree. Take a look at the net worth chart here. It's just a straight line. Radiant cores, Dire cores, Silencer, Tire cores, and Undying. And Pasky's just randomly going to get shot right off screen as I say that. I like the unintentional framing on that particular shot. It's just like he got caught right at the edge of screen. Pudge is getting bad punged by the Darkseer, who does not want any Pudgers present there. Getting posturing on Roche here. Spectre finding a nice combination of T1 and T2 jungle items as Philo stones drop all over the place. And another dagger Ristool. Alright. Dagger Ristool being definitely a high risk option here. You know, it's a lot easier to sacrifice 100 HP when you're sitting on like 3,000, and a lot harder when you're sitting on 1,000, you know. And G-Raff has filled the river with the paint from Mario Sunshine.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
A very convenient rune to find for the Dire, or not for the Dire, for the Radiant. But Jakira's not going to let him have it for this Roche attempt. And the Roche attempt is starting to fizzle, maybe? They're being so indecisive about it. I feel like the 3 and under club have just been sitting right outside of the Roche for like half an hour here. They finally have started to go in. Dire appear to be basically completely in the dark on this, so. Hall of Radiant now in the Roche pit. And the man himself is just going to go right down. Big Boy LaCroix going to pick up the Aegis. A good idea considering he's the core who's been going down the most in these fights. Pudge has been making sure to try and kill him as often as possible. And Pohohoro, who is staying kind of close to the Roche pit, but not inside of it, ultimately finds the same fate as if she had just gone in. Just to say, a swift, unmerciful death. Unmerciful, or as they say in the business, merciless.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's structures.
They're definitely going to be finding themselves not much to do for these coming minutes. They've decided that the play of the week is to try and go after the T1 here mid, though Death Prophet, who believes she can win this 1v3, is not going to let this happen so easily. This is a total bluff at this point, but I don't think anybody on Dire realized that.
Dire are scanning.
Let's ultimately get everybody to come down to the mid T1 though, after a long series of teleports, and I gotta say, I don't know if I'm really down with that.
Radiant's bottom
Really just kind of distracted themselves from the push top T2 for really no good reason. Why'd that global silence just happen? Maybe they thought they were going to kill Spectre there, but they weren't. Okay, Dawnbreaker. Okay, good. I was going to say Dawnbreaker needs to fall right now.
Dire's top tower is
Spectre going to go down again.
This was inevitable.
Dire's top
Kiro gonna take a spill to the Death Prophet behind the tower as the top T2 goes down. Darkseer at the very least is putting some pressure here on the enemy team's bot T2.
are fortified.
Exo comes out literally the moment that the Dire glyphs. I'm sure Copeless is not happy with that fact, and what do you know, no more creep wave. Death Prophet sees Pudge TP out and accidentally uses herself to stop him. Just not an effective way of going about that. Sniper found himself a ring of a killer. It's awfully convenient. As a Rift of Radiant just kind of pulls out of this Roche area. West side of the jungle in their triangle. Also found a Brigand's Blade. That's two good, really good sniper items. And he decides he wants to go with the blade. Somebody else may have the Aquila today. Pudge is not going to let Jakiro deny this particular arcane rune. That sinks slow right back down to a crawl. Pudge getting rather close to his Zags here. He's only 200 gold off, which is definitely going to change matters in this particular game, especially considering that Death Prophet's got BKB on the way. That's good. Dawnbreaker has her Shard, but not a full BKB. And Silencer, not Silencer, Sniper rather, has only really just started working on his. Smoke gang coming out here. They were perhaps looking at the Darks here, but now they're going to find a much more inviting target in the Spectre. They're going to opt not to take it though. They're going to instead run right into the Snapfire here. Snapfire has gotten called away and just survives with 44 HP. Dawnbreaker is going to try and fall on a Spectre illusion. Okay. Well, that was probably not the Dawnbreaker ult of the season by any means. Which is barely whiffing a hook on the Dawnbreaker, who decides to try and counterattack here. Turning things around. Aegis just expired, and Ags is up on Pudge, so I'm going to say, yeah, this probably isn't what you want to do right now. Dawnbreaker pops the BKB, but she's already lost so much HP that it really doesn't matter. She's just going to go right down. It's a really good Ice Path, really good ult from Jakiro.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Tombstone is going to go down. Pasky is going to as well, though. 3 for 2 trade, and they do lose their Spectre, which is really bad. But honestly, I think legitimately the Pudge getting the fat stacks might actually be the more important part of this deal.
Them on me.
You can see even though Spectre died, Spectre still made a profit for it anyway. Really the only significant gold change on Radiant was Sniper taking some money for himself there, which is pretty good. But I mean, eventually Spectre is going to be... It doesn't matter how scary Sniper gets. Eventually, Spectre, if she's not totally stopped, is going to get scary. That's going to be quite bad news. G-Raff's lab again. More illusion shenanigans happening at top. For there to be a distracting little effort here. Whole party shows up. I assume trying to secure this region for the next Roche bit. They're going to go all in on a couple of Pudge illusions. If only Silencer could steal it from those. Once again, Radiant just completely occupying the Dire jungle.
Radiant's
And once
bottom
again, some
tower
split
is
pushing
under
efforts
attack.
happening at bot. CHRONO looks to be about to take this tower completely uncontested.
Radiant structures are
There's going to be a glyph coming out for it.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Dawnbreaker's going to show up to try and get a punishment for this, and does successfully.
This is what happens when you stay.
And the tower survives with 9 HP. Dawnbreaker really heavily considering whether or not to deny it, ultimately chooses not to. Wants the creeps to come kill it instead, I guess. It's a very risky decision there if Darkseer's put an Ion Shell and he hasn't. But if Darkseer had put an Ion Shell on one creep in this particular wave, it would have basically guaranteed that tower is going to fall. You know, literally all it needed was just one hit.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Undying is Rune Invist here. It's kind of Pudger's kind of walked into a lot of silences, but ooh. Well, that was a bit awkward. The dash front that the Darkseer was giving him meant that was no risk for him. Unfortunately, it was all risk for Spectre, who decided to haunt in the middle of all 5, even though his team wasn't really ready to fight. Upside is he's up in 30 seconds, so it's too early for them to just completely win this game.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Dire's T2 mid goes down, and then they accidentally glyph, just to make things a little worse. Toot. And they're gonna go for another Roche attempt here. The Exo is not gonna do particularly much in this Roche fight. It's about to go down. Yep. That was just ended, but it should be still pretty much fine to just kill this guy here. Fire scan out the Roche attempt, but to say the least, too little too late. DP is going to hold on to the shard for now. Passes it off to Undying, who is going to eat it rather than to give it to the Silencer for some reason, even though Silencer's shard is a hell of a lot better than Undying's, especially when he's not core. And by he, I mean especially when Undying is not core. Death Prophet does see this tower at 1 health and says, "Why is it still here?" Denies it. Darkseer now has a Blink Dagger. Well, doesn't now have it, but it's coming in. Also has his normal punch ready.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Not really sure why that Radiant Glyph just happened. Dawnbreaker's BKB is finally done.
Dire's bottom
Getting
tower
all
is
3
under
members of the
attack.
Radiant now their BKB. 9 second on Sniper, 7 second on Death Prophet, and 9 second on the Dawnbreaker, obviously. Unless she fat fingers it. Pudge really just desperately wanted the hook on the Death Prophet there, but was not confident for going for it, but unless the stun
Dire's
drops.
bottom tower is under attack. Radiant are scanning.
Hook goes out, just barely with the Death Prophet.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
4-man Smoke coming out, looking to immediately punish the Pudge for his crimes against humanity, but no such luck. Actually, they're the ones getting punished now. Death Prophet loses about half of her HP. Nobody has yet told Pudge that you're supposed to build the Eternal Shroud on this guy yet, so he's just going to go down in mere moments. Remember, Aegis is popped though. Immediately pops the BKB, probably isn't actually necessary yet. Moon River bought back, just stand in the middle of this fight and be fat. And that was a dieback. is behind these lines, though, and is actually getting a lot of work done. Good use of the Glimmer Cape there, and that's, well, in the 6v5, the lost 5-4-4, Pudge twice. That ain't good. That is definitely not good. Let's see, yeah. 1,822 money just got donated to the First Church of Spectre. Which is quite bad. It's going to really speed up this Aya Scotty. Hopefully Pudge did not really get any fat stacks there. Spectre has now, in fact, finished that Scotty. So that's gonna be, she's gonna be much more of a problem in the future. Snapfire really sitting on absolutely nothing. But unfortunately, it's never great when Snapfire is like the super poverty support. Mindbreaker coming down for the Radiant here. The further amount of silence to amplify their already very silent team. And Cloak of Flames as well. Which nobody on that team is really tanky enough to carry, unfortunately for them.
Bountiful.
Pudge is unwittingly quite up in Dawnbreaker's face here. Though, as a wise man once said, ultimately two ships just kind of passing the night here. And Jakiro plops down an observer right on top of an enemy sentry ward. Again, kind of unwittingly here. It's a bit unfortunate, though. I will say it is a little, well, not so much if way more reinforcements just kind of show up for this. Radiant now getting ready for more of a concerted push down a bot.
Radiant are scanning.
Pudge got his plate mail, but decided he wants nothing more to do with that, and it's gone for an E-Blade instead. Alright. E-Blade would just shut Sniper up for good, but that's not really going to be a... I don't think that Sniper is probably going to be a realistic issue or objective. Well, not objective certainly, but it's not going to be a realistic VIP in these fights anymore. I feel like now that Spectre just pulled a Scotty out of the ether, basically, it's going to be kind of curtains for him. Another weird glyph for no obvious reason.
Radiant's middle tower.
Yeah, it was. The hell is that? Why do they keep doing that? Someone just clicking that button when it comes off cooldown on Radiant. Exo coming out here. Kind of sitting under this T3 bot, but not really anything to stop it so far. Dire gets to glyph. Major departure from Radiant, who has no such ability right now. Snapfire almost kills the Tombstone, and then Death Prophet denies it. Okay, just had a catapult dropped right on her head, but that other catapult was in such an awkward spot there couldn't be like a hook out of it or anything. We were very patiently waiting here, has now just kind of jumped behind enemy lines. Silence is going to come out here. Pudge is going to get stomped right on. But everybody's just going to die to the Spectre now, it feels like. Yep. It is kind of a, oh, Silencer actually formally got that kill first, right? No, he actually died. Okay, so it was a post-mortem kill on Spectre, so she retains all of her end. She made $917 in that fight. Kiro actually made a lot more there. And did 6,643 of the team's damage. So to say the least, Spectre is quite a major problem now. Even if Pudge has so far not really been able to deliver,
is under attack.
for one reason or another. And by that I mean he doesn't have an Eternal Shroud against that lineup, and really just did not have the early game he needs at this point. Even if the Pudge this game is a dud, he's still able to just kind of go in and just lower people enough to the point where all Spectre needs to do is just kind of hit R and everybody dies. So, even if you can't personally get the kill, what does that matter, right? Spectre now finished up with an Orchid, which is going to really be putting a sweat on some of the, really everybody on the Radiant, as everybody but Sniper is very heavily cast-oriented. In particular, it can be bad for Dawnbreaker, who will occasionally be using Starbreaker with a shard to try and get some magic immunity without using the BKB. That's no longer really an option. At this point, honestly, it's starting to feel a little bit like G-Raff's Lab may have picked themselves a bit too short-term of a team. You know, the Sniper feels like their latest scaling guy, and like I said, eventually it's going to get to the point where he just does not matter anymore. No matter what he has, no matter how much he tries, every fight is just going to start with Spectre just jumps on him and he dies instantly. That much is virtually guaranteed. 5-man smoke coming out here. I'm going to go into the enemy jungle where Inno is indeed hanging out, blissfully unaware of what's about to happen to him. So Death Prophet does kind of break the smoke there. So as a result, absolutely nothing happening. They just not see Spectre, or they think that's a fake, or what? Very odd.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
At the very least, Radiant are going to get the valuable prize of another free Roche. Exo going to go out for this job. Actually, basically everything Radiant has is going to be devoted to killing this Roche. It's kind of a problem, actually. It feels like they need, like, every big ult they have except for the Global Silence to actually do this. But do this they have. They get a free Ags, they get a free Aegis, and they get the cheese. Undying, posturing to take the Ags, which is definitely a very good Ags. DP Ags can be really good. Dawnbreaker Ags can be good if it's free in this game. Silencer Ags can be kind of nasty as well. Sniper Ags, it's, you know, it's something. Probably not what you want to build them around, but you can definitely do that. The ultimate decision, though, is they wanted to get that big strength steal on Undying, which is, you know, not exactly hard to see why.
My flesh, so shut.
Careful. Speaking of Undying, he's just finished up Greaves, which is a good counterpart to these Darkseer Greaves that we're also looking at. And Pudge just got BKB, which means he's about to be about 1 billion times harder to kill. Really, at this point, only vulnerable to Exo and the Sniper. Undying has now learned how to read. It only took him until after death, but better late than never is what I always say. Radiant desperately trying to find anyone here as they're posturing around these T3s. I do have a glyph, which I imagine is waiting for the Exo to deploy.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
But they might never actually get there. Yep.
Are fortified.
Gonna have to pop it a little earlier than they wanted to
Radiant
here,
structures
likely.
are fortified.
Radiant glyphs in response,
bottom
offensive
tower is
glyph.
under attack.
Pudge goes fishing for Death Prophet, finds Undying, decides that's super not what he wants, just walks away.
Dire's top
Snapfire
tower
artillery
is under
barrage,
attack.
everyone just immediately starts running away. Exo is gonna come out though.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Snapfire goes forward for the tombstone, just immediately gets knocked out. Global silence happens. And the Snapfire, the Dawnbreaker ult comes out, but just finds it can't do anything when Pudge has BKB.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And yeah, everyone just gets totally melted here. This went from in the bag for G-Raff's lab to totally over for G-Raff's lab in almost no time flat. Spectre just ran over everybody one by one from the back line as they were all focused on Pudge. And as a result, just no more gains to be had here. They do have 4 buybacks though, so there's that. Honestly, without any ults to back it up, I mean, I don't really feel like there's any significant ability for them to mount a defense here. Death Prophet actually die with a cheese. Still, it is going to be enough to scare off the Dire, which I do think, yeah, they probably don't really need to be scared.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Better safe than sorry, though, I suppose. Death Prophet's gonna come out here, just immediately gets Abyssal Bladed. The Dismember is not going to do any damage to DP, but it is certainly going to hold her in place long enough for Spectre to just get the kill. Undying drops a Tombstone, Tomb goes down immediately. Darkfear drops a wall and gets about 8 times as much done. One last buyback on the Silencer, but I mean realistically, yeah, this is just not happening anymore. Literally the moment Pudge got BKB, he went from like pretty low impact to just totally unkillable. But he's definitely going to be killable. He just stands outside his spawn and just waits for Sniper to give him a few new speed holes in his head. Bye-bye, Pudge. Really thought he was head enough to do that, but no, you ain't, buddy. Remember your place. Sniper ain't ahead enough to actually come out of spawn either. He does have buyback.
Radiant's top barracks has fallen. Radiant's
Okay, he just got normal punch, and then he just got haunted. They bring out a lot of stuff to try and save the guy, try and bring him back to spawn, but this is ultimately unsuccessful. Everybody who tries dies. Tombstone goes down. This is looking like that's it for old G-Raff and his lab. Darkseer is also just gonna buy back TP into this.
Radiant's middle barracks
Sniper's gonna
are
get,
under
or not
attack.
Sniper, Silencer rather, is gonna get normal punch now. 5 dead, long respawn timers.
Barracks are under attack.
Dawnbreaker is going to be up relatively soon, but not soon enough to actually
Radiant's
do
middle
anything.
barracks has fallen.
And it would be kind of a Christmas miracle for it to have any sort of meaning, really.
Dire's bottom barracks
Sniper
are
is
under
going to get
attack.
tipped here for some reason.
Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack. Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen. Dire's bottom barracks are under attack.
Bravo's gonna just Exo right out here. And then just get hit with the Abyssal Blade by Spectre. Darkseer is going to be made a part of it, whether it wants to be or not. Dawnbreaker goes down almost immediately. You know, can't really decide if he wants Death Prophet or the Tombstone. ultimately decides, hey, I'll just take both. G-Raff calls the G's, and finally we're formally getting out of here. That means finally we're formally done with week 2.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So what's the ultimate finding? This would have been a pretty in-the-bag matchup for CHRONO LUCILFER, it looked like. Even though the Spectre was very scary, it did take her so long to actually kick on and actually start doing stuff. But I mean, she had a very massive steroid in the fact that even though Pudge was really low strength, and even though he wasn't really building all that great for this particular match, didn't matter. All you need is just get Ags, be fat in the middle of a fight, and it just became incredibly unwinnable for the enemy team. It is a bit of a shame. It is ultimately a bit of a shame because it felt like when you got that first big Pudge that did not find any sort of significant counter, it was all just kind of very predestined. You know, he had a hard game, but not hard enough to just completely get rid of him. And the fact that that everyone had to deal with that atomic bomb sitting on their hands, they did rather well, but the fact that everyone had to put so much time, money, effort, and resources into dealing with them means that Spectre got basically, after a very rough start, transitioned into a totally free game. They just walked all over everything, and that's just kind of the long and short of it. Ultimately, at this point, I can say this for a fact. You know, and again, this is kind of tipping the hand that maybe secretly I didn't actually record these the Sunday before. Well, I mean, I record most of these, but not this one. The Sunday before the game, I might have secretly recorded these, like, right now, right before they're actually on YouTube. Yeah, I don't think this OBS pause 1 thing is really working out. Like, the 3 as the 1, it feels like it's just never giving dividends. Feels like they just kind of end up having 2 guys who just peak and taper off at the exact same time, and I don't know. It's just not working out for them. So, you know, that's why they changed it in the future, I guess. So, with that being said, week 2 is over. Week 3 should literally be, like, I just got 2 games to do from that, so that should be one night of recording, then we can get all over week 4. So that's going to be fun. So, if you're somebody you know wants to learn Dota 2 at a casual or more competitive level, go to ld2l.gg to sign up today. Today's sponsor is absolutely nobody. I'm not doing this bit when it's just me because it's too hard to be funny, and I will see you later.